I think it's probably my goal in life to be the guy that's having the most fun at the shooting range while spending the least amount of money. So if you're like me and you'd rather spend your money on cool firearms and ammunition as opposed to spending your money on targets and target stands, then you might find this video pretty helpful. My name is Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, let's get started. To build all these target stands, we are going to be using plain old 1/2-inch rebar that you can get at your local hardware store for about $6 for a 10-foot length. For this first design, I'm going to go ahead and measure out 3 equal lengths of the rebar. Now this next part is really handy if you have a rebar bender, which I don't, and I know you probably don't as well. So go ahead and just take a scrap 2x4 and put your body weight on it and pull with all your might to bend 2 90-degree angles into your rebar. Then I like to take an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel and cut the base of the rebar feet into sharp points so that it's easier to hammer into the ground. Then I just take some of these cheap spring clamps or even binder clips and clip some scrap cardboard over the top of the stand. This makes an excellent platform for hanging your paper targets or clay targets if you want to shoot at something a little more reactive. My old system of mounting the clay targets was just too flimsy to hold up to heavy wind or heavy abuse. As you can see, my rebar design is much stronger. And if you live in an area where the ground is too rocky or too hard or too frozen to drive these rebar stakes into, you can really quick just fab up a couple of feet out of some scrap 2x4 and drilling a 1/2-inch hole in them vertically. This not only provides a really sturdy base for your targets to stand above the ground, but also adds to the overall height of your target. Now I've built 2 of these types of stands, one for hanging paper targets and clay targets. And speaking of paper targets, I put an affiliate link in the description for the best budget thermal reactive paper targets. I also put links down there for free printable targets that you can print off yourself. The other target stand I built to hang these steel targets. Now, if you're more of a buy once, cry once sort of target person, then you'll definitely want to invest in some good AR500 steel plates. I got these steel plates from shootingtarget7.com. It's definitely the cheapest place on the internet to get the best quality AR500 shooting plates. I'll put an affiliate link in the description, and if you use coupon code Guns and Guitars, you can save 10% on your order, and they have free shipping over $99. I really just can't say enough good things about these AR500 steel plates that I got from there. I'm very impressed with the quality, and I will be uploading a dedicated review of their steel gongs here in the future. Perhaps the best part about this rebar target stand design is how easily it fits in the back of your car. It takes up such little room that your wife won't even mind if you just leave them in there all the time.
Oh, come on!
Well, okay, it was worth a shot. For this next design, go ahead and take your 10-foot piece of rebar and measure the exact center. Then, using our same bending method, go ahead and bend it to something more like a 60-degree angle. Be sure to struggle quite a bit on camera doing this task and fumble around and even fall on your butt a couple of times. At least if you do, it'll make me feel a whole lot better about myself. Then, once you've got your angle sort of the way you want it, go ahead and measure out on both legs where you want your next bend to be. Now, this measurement isn't super important, it just depends on how tall you want your target to stand. What is important is that you are consistent with your measurements on both legs. Then again, using our same method and still struggling, this just was a much stiffer piece of rebar for some reason. I really had a hard time bending it. Go ahead and shape it into the exact form that you want. Now the strength of this design happens when you hang steel plates from it. The weight of the targets pull the top down towards the legs, and it stands nice and sturdy. And as you can see, though not quite as compact as the first design, this design does sit just fine in the back of your car as well. Now I personally like to take a cheap $1 can of white spray paint and spray paint these so they look a little bit more professional. And if you're planning on using this target design on a hill or some sort of other rocky or loose terrain, you might want to consider making some feet, again out of just some scrap 2x4, drill in a 1/2-inch hole and slide those onto the feet. And those will just sort of act as extra support to keep your target from bouncing around on uneven ground. Now I've tested these designs with both handguns and rifles, and they are plenty sturdy. They don't fall over at all. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. You may also like this playlist right here of the best budget firearm accessories, and subscribe if you want to see more do-it-yourself tips and tricks for having the most fun at the range while spending the least amount of money. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, and I'll see you in the next video.